Hi, Scorpio. Alright, Happy New Year to you. Alright. I did child pose before your reading. I needed it. You know, where you just get on your knees and put your forehead on the ground, right? Put some pressure there. Instead of being like, oh, dumbass, it's just like, oh, relax. So I tried to do your reading before, but there were all these weird stories about horses. Like somebody got bucked off a horse and different situations. Really old. They were like old stories, you know? Kind of tired of talking about the same old shit. So there was something in your prayer. What was it? Let me see if I can remember. It was kind of funny and it rhymed. Oh, help me clear my mind of the bullshit. So I can get up, get on, and do it. Something about goodness and greatness, right? Get up and do it with goodness and greatness. Okay, so we're going to use the Hieronymus Bosch. Do you know this artist? He's real tripped out. But these cards are super real. So there could be some specific things, but you know, we're allowed to do things when we have license to do them, right? And sometimes there's red tape to go through. I feel like if you're feeling like you're in a place, this is now, and I see way into a future place. Remember that if you ever get in a mood, right? Look at this person's face. You know, because of you know, when we know too much, what happens? It can make you crazy, right? But yeah, when you can't seem to change the page in your head, I guess I was thinking about it. You probably have to get more into your body, right? Because Taurus is your opposite. And Taurus has they have animals that have 4 feet. I don't think you actually have any 4-footed animals, like in a general sense. So it'd be putting all four on the ground, right? And a bull always has their head down. It's like a bowing position, right? I would also say, and this has been kind of a general thing, but it's coming up, so, and this is in relation to what we're talking about, your mirror energy, Taurus, the other side of you, how to balance you is the other zodiac sign, right? At least to balance those portals so you can have the correct, remember you play telephone when you were a kid with the 2 tin cans and you gotta pull the string tight, right? Not too tight that snaps, not too loose, because then the information isn't relayed properly, right? It's the right tension on both sides. But paying attention to diet, right? Bulls are vegetarian. They like grains. They like grass, like green things, plant material. Roughage, actually. So that may be a way to do it. It's also the new moon today. I don't usually record on a new moon, but I feel like it's the right time for you. So let's see, Scorpio. All right, let's not use the cards. Let's just sit and see what happens here. Oh, that was another thing. I wanted to like sit on the ground, you know? I mean, I like a table and a chair and being all proper in the places. That feels nice, those kind of clean lines, but I'm such a natural being, you know, and I just always end up on the floor anyway. I find it to be a very creative place, right? I guess it kind of gives you the perspective of being a child too, because the eye level right, is more of a child's height versus an adult. You get a completely different perspective on the situation. Maybe some of you need to sit in a place and look at something like that from that point of view. Whatever you're working with. Okay, now we can pick some cards. Scorpio. Alright, so we have 3. Oh, they were upside down. Let's turn that around. Okay, so the undercurrent is about money and loss of it. So I would say keeping note of that. Maybe from this point forward, whenever you find this, it's not like someone's being a stickler, but it's being more conscientious, right? Of Taurus, I have Earth in the physical world. What do I have? Right, Taurus actually rules over money too. Venus energy, Venus and Mercury. So we have Ace of Swords, the Sin of Wrath, and the King of Coins. Whoa. Wrath. Haven't we talked about this before? There are some folks that that identify too. Someone's identifying too hard in a very small way. They're identifying themselves or the situation too smallly, it's rigid. Interesting. I'm seeing a bunch of triangles. You know, it's like these sharp edges. Because this is actually Taurus energy. Hold on. Oh, I guess someone's mad that someone else has something. So this wrath comes out of jealousy. Interesting. Well, let's have fun. My kind of fun. My kind of fun these days. It's probably always been my kind of fun, but I've changed the really bad ways that I used to have fun. Because they weren't fun. They were just hurting myself, right? So let's look up wrath. Let's see what that is. I know that I learned about this word because I didn't realize, but there are levels to anger, right? Sorry if any of you are dealing with this coming towards you or is within you. Wrath, walkable, want, walking in the line, Wappenshaw. Keep going. Worcester, worm. There's wraith. That isn't the word we want. We want wrath. Wreath, wrapper, wreck, wrath. It's especially British. Wrath. Is that how you say it? Number 1, a strong, stern, or fierce anger. Deeply resentful indignation. Number 2, vengeance or punishment as the consequence of anger. Adjective, archaic, wrath, which is a bit, I guess, is that expression through the British. Then there's also wrathless. Oh, interesting. So the synonyms are rage, resentment, dungeon, fury, choler, choler, which I feel like would be choleric. Remember when we talked about this, the blood and the phlegm and the spit? When someone's like in their head, they'll spit more. You ever seen somebody so angry they're like frothing at the mouth? I hope none of you are dealing with it. I don't want to deal with this. I've already dealt with this. Maybe that's just what we're talking about. Let's keep going. It's still in there, so we gotta squeeze it out. Okay, cholera and then passion. That's the one I wanted to mention. Passion is synonymous with wrath. That's probably why the Muslims believe that that's a sin. Interesting. The antonym to wrath is equanimity and pleasure. So I guess anger does not ever bring pleasure. Are you mad at anybody else? Second question, how are you mad at yourself? It doesn't have to be about something now. It could even be something before you're like, oh, I wish I didn't do that. Because I feel like that's hanging on. It's like buried in someone. And it's no longer necessary. Yeah, here's the hangman and the devil. That's the devil's got a good grip on something. Why? I don't like that. Hold on, I don't know what I just heard. Where's that book? Let's go here for a second. I know this is random. I don't know what's happening. I'm just flowing with it. It actually feels nice to not have to be here. This is Scorpio. Okay, let's read it. It says, in Scorpio, ruled by Mars and Pluto, Jupiter promotes an excessive interest in the sensation or sexual outlet for energy. If afflicted, Jupiter here will cause the mind to play ceaselessly with the fantasies and will tend to cause the individual to seek out this form of experience to an excessive degree. The major lesson here is to moderate and to control this tendency. In a positive aspect, Jupiter in Scorpio ensures an ability to do well financially and gives a strong sex drive. Let's go to another one. You know, it's kind of lame that so many people haven't we talked about this before? How like so many books are like, you bring up Scorpio and then it's sex. And it's just like, that's such a base nature of what it can be. I know you know this, but I'm just saying, like, sure, that's a part of life. It's a part of people. Yes, most Scorpios do have some sort of allure in that way, but everybody has Scorpio in their chart. Maybe that's how it's done, but it's such a generalization. Like, to me, I would say Scorpio would have more to do with fear. Which is where anger comes from, right? Okay, what do we need to know here? What's going on? Someone's learning to take something in strides, like in stride, or your other reading mentioned something about how you inspire others via your, when you have failed, or when you didn't get what you want, or what have you, when you face that with dignity, when you faced your failures with dignity. I heard that's how you help the children. That's how you help eternity. What? Someone's releasing something. It's like every time something goes out, something goes back in. So there needs to be more space between. Your neighbor Libra talked about this. They're in this opening stage, right? But that sometimes when it's open, it feels empty. What do we do when it's empty? We fill it up, right? We have an empty room, and we're like, oh, let's put things there, right? Like an empty closet. Let me fill it. It's this. So we're trying to look at a situation with new spaces, with new ideas, right? I feel like the air energy is really helpful for you right now, like Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. I heard a wise person knows when to ask for help. A wise person knows when to not be an asshole about it. Okay. If you've been asking to like sleep better, I feel like that's a person's sleeping better now. If you're not, for some reason, this is a very important part, right? You and Cancer are the only nocturnal signs, or the two major nocturnal signs. So a lot of Scorpio moons here, right? Anyway, Plutonic moon. What are we talking about? I guess if we can reel it just into this time, I would say, no matter how you're feeling about what you're feeling, whether that's presently or wherever this is sitting, right? I would pay attention to some basic things, like I feel like it's a good time to probably shift around, like diet, especially if you're stressing, you're not eating well, everything's going fine, but you're feeling weird about shit, right? So I heard we don't have to, right, help me clear my mind of my bullshit. How do we do that? Well, we pay attention to what we eat. Sometimes we fast a little bit from what we eat, right? We don't just take it in, like we were talking about. But maybe you're just adjusting that. Maybe a little bit of physical exercise. Could even be some simple relaxation, like that downward dog, right? Or child's pose, whatever you call that. It's kind of like laying down like a dog would, you know. But I guess your forehead would be like their chin, right? So if you have animals around you, I'm sure that they're, to me, one of the best teachers about who we are. And so I just saw someone going through, like, they had like a sewing, like a little, it was a small pile, like a little sewing pile, and kind of mending things. So I heard, what are you doing in the evening? I think so, if you're, yeah, if you're dealing with, especially if we take it even a little further, because I guess it's easy to feel like that, you know, where you're like, okay, journey, oh, I feel melancholy. You know, it's especially weird for Scorpios, especially that get scorpionic energy that gets out of their own like hell, and then things become fine and good, and then it's like, well, okay, what is that? You know, and we get into stages of like, do I deserve happiness? You know, because to me, another thing that's also very much associated with Scorpio energy, like soulfully speaking, is suffering, right? Is guilt. And yeah, there's guilt attached to other lives, right? That's why we have these placements, because we have to work it out in this life, whether that's forgiving ourselves and finding peace in that, or finding peace in other people and in this world. And I guess when that happens is probably when the financial situation also becomes more comfortable for Scorpionic energy, right? Because that's okay too. We are allowed to have that in this life. Because really, like, we create it, right? We work for something and then we receive something for that. And then we can take that and use it as we will. There's some kind of like question and answer game too. All right, I'm going to say that's good for now. I'm glad we didn't go into where the energy was like overwhelming to my body either. It was kind of rough before. I had to like check myself on my energy, because I knew that it wasn't necessarily about me. You know what I mean? But distinguishing sometimes when things, you know that all things are interconnected, it's, you know, energetic boundaries, they're incredibly important to all people, but particularly fixed signs. And yeah, so I hope this was helpful, Scorpio. And yes, Happy New Year, Gregorian New Year, almost Chinese New Year, and then seasonal New Year, right, when we get into spring, the vernal equinox. Okay, so yeah, please take care of yourselves. Thank you for being a part of this place. I hope this was helpful. I know, random dictionary, other book, weird art tarot sitting on the floor. Leo also talked about a fox. Maybe that's an animal. They usually change color about now too, right? They like, all the animals sort of learn to blend into their environment a little bit better, so they don't have to exert as much energy and survival, you know, just on some basics. So yeah, I heard take care of your body. And I heard don't just say you're gonna, I heard someone say don't just say you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? I see someone trying something, working on something for like a couple months, maybe till spring. And then I saw somebody has one of those sand meditation, or someone's like drawing things in the sand, in the dirt. All right, I love you, Scorpio. Please take care, and I'll talk to you next time.